The NFL wrapped up its off-season last week and the league is officially on vacation until camp opens at the end of July. How did teams fare? Our team of NFL Nation reporters looks back at the off-season, gives each franchise a status report and predicts the biggest question going into training camp. Elite Minnesota Vikings. What will Minnesota's offense look like under new coordinator John DeFilippo? Don't expect a ton of wholesale changes, but perhaps a scheme that will bring out the best of Kirk Cousins' skill set, play action, deep ball, while working to turn around his weaknesses, red zone turnovers. Training camp practices will provide a look into how comfortable Cousins is in the Vikings' offense and with his skill players. Read more. Above average Baltimore Ravens. What will the offensive line look like? The only certainty is former first-round pick Ronnie Stanley at left tackle and perennial Pro Bowler Marshall Yanda at right guard. The other three spots, left guard, Alex Lewis or James Hurst, center, Matt Skura or Lewis, and right tackle, Hurst or Orlando Brown Jr., are up in the air. Carolina Panthers. Who will start opposite James Bradbury at cornerback? Ross Cockrell seemingly has the edge based on experience, but rookie Dante Jackson appears to have more upside in speed and coverability. For the front seven to play free and pressure the quarterback, there has to be trust in the cornerbacks. Read more. Chicago Bears. What kind of impact will wide receiver Allen Robinson have on Chicago's offense? Robinson put up monster numbers for Jacksonville, 80 catches, 1,400 receiving yards and 14 touchdowns, in 2015, but he sat out almost the entire 2017 season with a torn ACL. Robinson participated in only individual drills at the tail end of the Bears' off-season program, so he still needs to bond with Mitchell Trubisky. Read more. Cleveland Browns. Who will play left tackle? Joe Thomas' retirement leaves a huge need at the most important position on the offensive line. Sean Coleman got the longest look in the off-season, but the Browns have to work out who starts at the position and how much they can ask from him. Thomas was so good that the team could start each game plan assuming he could handle the opposing team's best pass rusher. It will require some work on the coaching staff's part to account for the drop in talent from Thomas to his replacement. Read more. How did all 32 NFL teams fare this off-season? We evaluated their best and worst moves, whether they met their goals, and all the looming questions still to answer. Progress reports for every team. Sando, grades from NFL executives. Denver Broncos. How will the offensive line look when the regular season begins? Season after season, even during their 2015 Super Bowl season dash, they continued to juggle lineup combinations during the off-season workouts and training camp, hoping to find a starting five that plays with chemistry and enough consistency to keep their quarterbacks out of harm's way. Read more. Green Bay Packers. If quarterback Aaron Rodgers' contract extension isn't done by the start of camp, that will be a recurring question. But as far as on-field issues, there's much to be settled on defense. Where will the pass rush come from other than Clay Matthews and Nick Perry? How will the secondary lineup shake out? Which draft picks will make an immediate impact? Of course, none of this matters if Rodgers suffers another major injury like he did last season, when he broke his collarbone. Houston Texans. Who will start next season at left tackle? The Texans started 5 different players at the position last season, including Julian Davenport, who started 3 games in the second half of the season. At the NFL owners' meetings, Coach Bill O'Brien said he thought Davenport held his own at the position, and that he would be given the opportunity to compete for the starting spot. Read more. Jacksonville Jaguars. Miles Jack moves to middle linebacker full-time, and how quickly he adjusts bears watching. The team tried to move him there last season, but he struggled with the transition. Jack spent a lot of time during OTAs and minicamp working on coverages and drops while he rehabbed a hand injury. Read more. Los Angeles Rams. Determining who will be ready to start at outside and inside linebacker. The Rams traded veteran outside linebacker Robert Quinn and inside linebacker Alec Ogletree. Samson Ebukam, a second-year pro, practiced in place of Quinn, and Corey Littleton, a former undrafted free agent, in place of Ogletree. Coach Sean McVay said both were among standouts throughout the off-season program. But training camp, and padded practices, will better determine if both are capable of filling big roles. New York Giants. Will Odell Beckham Jr. get a new contract? He wants one, and things likely get bumpy if Beckham doesn't get one. He isn't about to put himself at risk in live drills this summer before getting paid. That would be a bad business decision. This situation is going to hang over training camp and the regular season until it's resolved. Read more. New York Jets. Who's the quarterback? Josh McCown will go into camp No. 1 on the depth chart, followed by former Vikings starter Teddy Bridgewater and rookie Sam Darnold, respectively. But this isn't your typical 1-2-3 depth chart. They all have a shot to be the opening day starter. Bridgewater has the ability to steal the job, but his surgically repaired knee remains a question mark. Darnold impressed in the spring, but he'd have to be lights out in the preseason to take it. Philadelphia Eagles. Can the defensive line get healthy and remain a dominant force? DT Tim Jernigan is recovering from surgery to repair a herniated disc. Super Bowl hero Brandon Graham spent much of the spring in a boot following an ankle surgery, and both Vinnie Curry and DT Bo Allen are now with the Tampa Bay Bucks. Michael Bennett and Haleti Atta were brought in to help fortify the front, but each are in the twilight of their careers and have dealt with injuries of their own. Read more. Best moves. Looming questions for all 32. Rams. Another dream team. Eagles. Le'Veon Bell turns to boxing. Hometown. How Cousins' Vikings education will continue. San Francisco 49ers. Do the 49ers have enough outside pass rush to take the next step defensively? The 49ers defense improved at the end of last season after Jimmy Garoppolo took over. He helped keep that unit off the field by keeping the offense on it. But other than Richard Sherman, the Niners didn't add anyone to the defense who looks to be a guaranteed starter. That could be a problem, especially for the pass rush, which finished 27th in sacks last year with 30. Read more. Tampa Bay Buccaneers. How quickly can the Bucs' defensive line gel, and how much of an impact can Jason Pierre-Paul make? The Bucs have swung and missed a number of times over the past 10 years when it comes to pass rushers, both in free agency and the draft. Tennessee Titans. Do the Titans have enough reliable options at wide receiver? This is arguably Tennessee's weakest unit after an underachieving 2017 campaign and a 2018 offseason that largely ignored the position. The Titans are expecting 2017 first-round pick Corey Davis to become their number 1 receiver after an injury-plagued rookie season. Marcus Mariota is beginning to develop more chemistry with Davis this offseason. Washington Redskins. Who's healthy? The Redskins have question marks surrounding multiple key players who had off-season surgery, including left tackle Trent Williams, tight end Jordan Reed, right tackle Morgan Moses and defensive end Stacey McGee. Every one of these players is crucial. If the Redskins are relatively healthy, they could surprise. Read more. Average Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals' offense is never going to get out of last place if it continues to force the ball to A.J. Green for lack of a better option. That's why Tyler Eifert, John Ross and Joe Mixon are going to be critical components. Eifert needs to stay healthy, and Ross needs to live up to his first-round status. Mixon had some solid games last season, but the Bengals are going to need him to keep improving. Read more. Dallas Cowboys. Are the Cowboys set at safety? Ever since Earl Thomas told Jason Garrett to come get me after the Seahawks beat the Cowboys last December, there has been a dream among fans that Thomas will wear the star. Everybody is still waiting, although the teams did talk before and during the draft. Read more. Kansas City Chiefs. Will the Chiefs play well on defense consistently? They struggled much of last season on defense and discarded 2 of their best defensive players, cornerback Marcus Peters and linebacker Derrick Johnson. Read more. Los Angeles Chargers. Can the Chargers fulfill lofty expectations and win the AFC West? NFL prognosticators anointed the Chargers as the favorites to win the division. However, the Chargers have not reached the postseason since 2013, and have not won the AFC West since 2009. How the Chargers respond to playing as the favorite during the first part of the year will go a long way to determining if this team is heading toward the postseason. Miami Dolphins. Is Ryan Tannehill still the answer at quarterback? This question will linger throughout the season and could have massive implications on how the Dolphins approach the 2019 season and beyond. He seems to have fully recovered this spring from a season-ending knee injury, which is a strong first step towards securing his role. Read more. New England Patriots who will emerge at receiver? This is especially important with Julian Edelman, pending an appeal, facing a 4-game suspension to start the season. Chris Hogan is a lock. And then there's Jordan Matthews, Cordarrelle Patterson, Kenny Britt, Philip Dorsett, Malcolm Mitchell, Riley McCarron, Cody Hollister, 6th-round pick Braxton Berrios and special teams captain Matthew Slater. New Orleans Saints will Marcus Davenport or Alex Okafor be ready to emerge as a top-tier defensive end in 2018? Davenport was already considered a raw developmental prospect even before he had to undergo minor thumb surgery following minicamp, and Okafor was sensational in his first year in New Orleans in 2017 before tearing his Achilles. But that's a major injury he's still recovering from this summer. If one of those two lives up to his potential, the Saints should be in great shape. Read more. Pittsburgh Steelers. How will the Steelers support Antonio Brown in the passing game? Juju Smith-Schuster must be part of the answer after a 917-yard rookie campaign. But the loss of Martavis Bryant as a safety magnet will affect Brown's passing lanes unless rookie James Washington, tight end Vance McDonald and others keep defensive backs honest. Too soon to tell. Arizona Cardinals. How many reps will quarterback Sam Bradford get? He was limited in OTAs and had his workload slightly increased during minicamp, but with Arizona bringing Bradford along slowly, how much action he gets in training camp could dictate how ready he is for the regular season. As of now, he's the Week 1 starter. Read more. Atlanta Falcons. Will Julio Jones hold out of training camp? The 5-time Pro Bowler decided to skip off-season workouts and mandatory minicamp while seeking a revised contract. Jones has 3 years and almost $35 million remaining on his deal. The Falcons have to decide if they are willing to make him the league's highest-paid receiver. Buffalo Bills. Who is the starting quarterback? The Bills' quarterback competition will be the dominant theme of the summer until there is clarity about who will start September 9 at Baltimore. A.J. McCarron's 4 career regular and postseason starts make him the most experienced option, while the Bills seem to be giving 2017 5th-round pick Nathan Peterman every opportunity to shake off his statistically poor rookie season and win the job. Eventually the Bills must give first-round pick Josh Allen his chance, but whether that happens in training camp, early this season, late this season or next season seems completely up in the air. Detroit Lions. How is the run game is actually going to work? Detroit added 2 offensive linemen, a fullback and a potential starting running back, Kerryon Johnson, during the draft. But until pads come on, it's tough to tell whether the league's worst rushing offense from a season ago will get markedly better. Read more. Indianapolis Colts. Will Andrew Luck be ready for the start of the regular season? Luck, who missed all of last season after right shoulder surgery in January 2017, must prove he is 100% healthy. That means throwing a regulation football on a regular basis, playing in the preseason, taking a hit in a game for the first time in nearly 2 years, not suffering any setbacks in practice or preseason games and actually playing in a regular season game. Oakland Raiders. How far behind the curve will Khalil Mack be once he reports? The 2016 NFL Defensive Player of the Year has not attended any of the Raiders' off-season workouts as he awaits a contract extension. After being a staple his first 4 years in the league, he has yet to even formally meet new coach John Gruden, let alone have a football conversation with him or see the new culture being cultivated in Oakland. Seattle Seahawks. Who's the starting running back? Chris Carson or Rashad Penny? Carson has taken first-team reps during off-season work and is still the most physically impressive of Seattle's running backs. But it's hard to imagine the Seahawks drafting Penny where they did without a belief that he could take over as starter early in his career. Read more.